I am so sorry about that, everyone. It's a long story, but it was entirely my fault, but I had to answer that call. I'll never do that to you again, I promise. Our male leopard is up and he's following the female down the tree. She went to try and tempt him to mate with her and didn't have any success. He wasn't interested. So she stalked off into the grass and now he's following along behind. Massive male leopard. I'm pretty sure I've seen him before in this area. I'm so excited to see him again. Are they going to mate? He's going to stop and spray. And then he's going to go off in search of her. So this will be the first time, I think. Have we had mating leopards in the Mara before? I don't think so. I think this will be a first for us. Now, usually with mating leopards, what you'll find is that the female desperately tempts the male in the first day or so of her estrus, and it takes a little while for the male to get interested, often up to around about 24 hours before he does mate with her. What an exciting find. I'm so thrilled. You can see his massive neck. I'm sure it's him. He's the guy that Brent had with a warthog kill ages ago, months ago, when we were still broadcasting out of Chiku, out of the closed Land Rover. Oh, bit of a sneeze. Now where's that lady gone? Time to go off in search of her. You played it too cool, mister. Ignoring her, growling at her. A lady can only take so much rejection, apparently. She's decided enough of this. I'm off. She could have just gone to lie in the shade. Let's just see where he goes. This is going to be so interesting in this long grass. A real challenge for us.
What has she seen? There's a warthog. Watch her go. Come on, girl. That's a very big warthog. She needs to go. And the warthog, shame, he's running for his life. This is a long chase. Come on, girl. I think the warthog might have got the better of her on this one, and off he goes. Pumbaa lives another day.
On the left of the picture, this is just unbelievable. They are talking to each other. There is tactile communication. They're touching each other. The young bulls are playing in the water. They are touching each other, wrestling with each other. There's lots of smells that are going on. Mothers or sisters that haven't seen each other in months probably are back together again, and they communicate through all sorts of smell senses. And there's some practice for years to come when they might need to mate. They're climbing on top of each other. This whole breeding herd has just pushed themselves into the water. The cousins, the nieces, the nephews, the aunties are all pushed in there, having an absolute elephant of a time. Excuse that. This is fantastic stuff. More ellies coming in from the left. I've actually lost count, Dave. And there's another group coming in from the distance right up the hill. I think, and elephants can communicate over a distance of about 25 kilometers, they reckon. So that's about, what's that, about 12 or so miles they can communicate with a very low frequency infrasound communication. So it's possible that a few got here, they started making some noise, and then the herds from miles away are all flocking in. Another reason might be that this is quite a nice big permanent water pan, and elephants know where the water is. The females lead them here, and they are absolutely loving it. How many you reckon, Darby, if we counted? There's over 100 already. Kim asks if we only follow elephants or do we follow other animals. Kim, we are out here in the savannah and we follow absolutely anything. We are very interested in the small things and the big things, and the big five is obviously quite a draw card for many of you back home. And who doesn't want to watch elephants? But we watch lions, we watch leopards. This area is actually the best area in the country to see leopards in the wild, and we're hoping to, after these elephants stop giving us such a good show, to maybe go and find a leopard this afternoon. But this time of day is the best time to watch elephants, because this is what they do. leopards and lions this time of day generally are lying flat, not doing too much. Jasmine asks if the bulls or females outlive bulls, and I don't think so. I think there's quite an even sort of age that the male and the female will get to in elephant years, and in the wild it's generally about 65 to 70, maybe in a place like Kenya where they feed mainly on grass where the vegetation's quite soft, but down here in South Africa in the savannas they feed on a lot of wood, a lot of bark, and that causes their teeth to wear down a lot quicker than the other elephants further north. And elephants in their life get 6 sets of molars, and once that 6th set is worn down they actually can't grind their food down, and it's a very sad story, but they eventually starve to death. They don't have the luxury of dentures and dentists like we do, but they live very similarly to us. So if you ask the question, do human male or female live longer, there's probably statistically females live longer, so maybe in elephants that's the same. Maybe because they're in groups like this they can live longer, but I think it's quite similar. Just pan a bit right, Darby, those ellies are chasing the geese. Such a formidable elephant, he's chasing the geese. Oh, splashing around. If you don't see your children in these elephants, I don't know what to say. It's fantastic. Definitely more than 100 elephants have joined us here. Yes, Madani, I agree. Bravo, elephant, bravo. You sure showed those geese. See, that's what Mum does, and it works very well against everyone else. So they've got to learn those techniques and strategies, and when Mum does it, it can be quite frightening. But when youngsters do it like that, often have them doing it to us, we just laugh, because it is actually very comical. Like a small child running up to you and hitting you with a fake sword. What can you do but pretend that it was saw? So folks, this is going to be us for the afternoon. If you'd like to watch more on Safari Live, please Google us, Safari Live. You can find us there when we're going to be saying goodnight from us and the elephants at Chitwa Dam. Thank you, Noel. Look who we've found. It is indeed the little Prince Hosana. And he is up the tree, a marula tree to be exact. And he is just there, just chilling. He's got an impala that he seems to have eaten a huge amount of, and he's just repositioned it twice since we've been here to give us a better view, because he's such a considerate cat. He waved when we arrived, that's how cool he is. I'm only joking, but he's got a very nice view there. He's got quite a full belly, so he's finding it quite difficult to sit there, but he knows feeding in the tree is the best bet. Sorry, I just have to quickly communicate on the radio. Some other game drive would like to come here, as you can imagine, because this is wonderful. Steve from Wild Earth standing by. Yeah, you're most welcome. You'll be second station. The southern end of the airstrip, you're just on the western side, you'll get our visual. Okay, so another vehicle is coming. I was just commenting to Davy that can't believe there's no one here. We arrived and a vehicle moved out. To see this sort of behavior of leopards in a tree feeding is just awesome stuff. As you've probably noticed in the time you've been watching Safari Live, you probably see a lot of time, especially in the early afternoon. Ooh, he nearly fell. Where the cats aren't doing too much. But this is perfect leopard light. He's active. He's in a tree. And he's eating. Well, he was eating. Aaron's asking me what is Hosana's range, and it's quite interesting. I don't know the distance. He's not a fully grown male yet. He's only 22 months or something like that. I think he's almost 2 years old. So he's not a mature leopard yet. So he's basically trying to just move in between the female and male leopards that are currently here. She doesn't have a territory yet, but he moves all the way through Juma and all the way down to Chitwa and into Little Gowrie. So I don't know what size it is. Maybe James has a better idea. Davy, you have an idea? No, not too sure. But I don't think it's fixed. He's just moving in relation to food and in relation to tolerance. And he's kind of moving in an area where his dad, Tingana, is around. So he's kind of being tolerated by his dad. And if he goes into the territory of another leopard, especially a male, there's a good chance he's going to get a hiding. But we're really enjoying watching him growing up. And he is very successful. He's not as successful as a hunter as he will be soon, but he's doing very, very well for himself. And just in the 3 weeks that I've been here, I've seen him grow. And I mean, that's a marvelous skill. Can you imagine sitting up in a tree? He's probably about, how high is that? Probably about 8 meters up in the tree there. So what's that, about 24, 25 feet up in the tree? He's balancing. He was balancing on one foot while he licked his other paw with a full belly. I would be worried to do that. But this is how they've evolved. This is how they avoid competition with other individuals. And we are joined, ladies and gentlemen, in the sighting by another one of the big five who's come for a little peek. There we go. Have an African elephant just in the left of the screen there. Not too bothered by the leopard in the tree. The leopard not too bothered by him. And Hosana's definitely giving him a little watchful eye. Interested to know what he's going to do. Is he going to come push the tree down? No, he wouldn't do that. But he is in a marula tree, so if it is a female, it's a good chance that elephant will come and feed underneath it, which could be quite an interesting shot if that does happen, to see the contrast in regards to the size of the elephant. Now you can actually see it as Davy pans out how big that elephant is, and you'll see how high he is up in the tree here. Wonderful, look at that. There he is. Saber, I am on fire today. Thank you. Very nice comment. It's Davy and myself that are on fire. We got the nice vibes. We walked out of camp and we fist pumped each other and we said good vibes today. And since we left camp, we've just been having fun. And I think that's the key to this job, is to go out there. Doesn't matter what we're going to see. Go out there with the intention of having fun and everything will reveal itself. Jeremy, I think you're a new viewer. Welcome to Safari Live. If this is your first time with us, you are having an absolute wonderful afternoon, I hope. Elephants by the water, elephants under leopards, and leopards in trees eating impala. This is live. This is happening in the moment. Minute by minute we are capturing. So you ask a question, what is the lifespan of a leopard? In the wild, probably the maximum you'll get is 15 years for a female, 12, 13 years for a male. That's probably the life expectancy in the wild, purely because of competition with other males, with other females, and with other predators such as lion and hyena. Obviously, when they start getting a bit older, it becomes a bit more difficult to catch prey, and not only the competition with other animals, but the inability to maybe carry an animal up a tree like that leads to them losing condition. And if a leopard loses condition, it's very difficult to regain it. And that's why when they are young, they need to feed, they need to eat a lot of meat, they need to build up their condition and stay strong. But I think in captivity they can live longer than that, but they don't have to hunt there. But 12 to 15 years, I think, is the average life expectancy. And isn't he a magnificent individual? He is sitting in the typical leopard pose with his legs around the branch you saw before, which is probably going to be quite uncomfortable for a little bit because he's got a full belly. Isn't that marvelous? King, I love your comment. This is Hosana's penthouse suite. It is indeed, and I do actually think deep down in my heart that he's busy watching the sunset at the same time on his own safari. He's got a big...
This is a baby impala, so it's a little bit easier to feed. Training again. So the leopard that we saw with you guys, only you two, if you can remember, is the father of this one.
Hi, so sorry. Apparently Steve is having a little bit of troubles with his gremlin. Sorry about that, everybody. But as that has happened, I've just noticed that that little bit of cloud cover that's come through is actually just a tiny sliver. So the colors are coming out from the bottom. I just want to come around the corner here past some impala, who are all busy on quarantine, all these wildebeest and impala, so that they can be in a nice open area for when it gets dark, as they can't see at night, and they just try and be in a space where they can hear and smell properly. So I'm thinking, what do you think? There we go. Absolutely gorgeous. Here we are. Now don't forget, everybody, as we're looking at our last little bit of sunset here, don't forget that we're going to be doing live TV shows again in February. Fantastic. So from the 4th to the 8th at 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll be live in the States. So come and join us then. And thank you all very much for a wonderful afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow morning.